All right, party people. This your man Griff. So today, after my notary certificate training, and thank y'all for sharing, commenting, greatly appreciated. I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw something that a person posted about IDs, and it's talking about the notary presenting ID to prove who they are. My take has always been, I'm gonna show you my driver's license. That's what I always do because that's coming from the state. That's the same That's the information that's on my notary my notary commission. But this individual was talking about they create their own ID. Yeah, babe. Oh, they create their own ID and use that because they don't want anybody to see their driver's license because they're concerned that somebody might memorize some information off of there, so forth and so on. I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying, but what does the state require? Does the state allow us to do that as a form of showing them our ID? As ID to prove who we are. Does the um, client that we're working for want us to show some homemade ID that we made up, or that Office Max or Office Depot, FedEx, UPS made made for us on our behalf? What do they want? So I didn't. So I just dealt with what the state requires. So let me show y'all what I found. So I asked the question, as a mobile notary, I go to various homes of clients. One of the things I get asked is to show ID to prove who I am. What type of ID should I present to the clients? So I was in this here, as you see this title up here, talking about affidavits and their legal importance. Excuse me. That was part of what we was covering today in the notary certificate training. So I didn't start a new chat in DeepSeek. I just kept going with what I was dealing with, and we was answer some questions for about Florida notaries. So when I asked this question, it came out and told me that I should show my Florida commission certificate. I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, why is it telling me Florida? Now I was thinking it was going to give me a general question, but it was giving me more specific for Florida because I had been asking questions about Florida notary laws and things. So then it said you can also present your Florida notary ID card. Now I didn't know that Florida had a notary ID card, which is cool, but they do. So you can have one of those. So it more than likely has a seal on it from the state of Florida, all of that. So the person would know that it's a Florida, it came from the state of Florida, not just some made up card. I was like, all right, cool. So it went on and said this the other form of ID would be a government issued photo ID, driver's license or ID card, passport or passport card. The notary commission provides your official authority. Driver license proves your identity. That your proves your identity matches your authority. Okay, so I was like, all right, bet, and everything. Okay, that was my wife. She just texted me something. So goes on to says carry professionals notary kit and all of that, which is cool. Use a badge holder, which is your ID card, driver's license, business card, all of that. So do not present your notary seal stuff as that or your notary journal or non-government IDs like a work badge. I was like, okay, cool. So I kept going and I said, well, let me find out what did I supposed to do for Virginia. So I said, well, I live in Virginia. It said, thank you for the crucial clarification. The laws and recommendations are state specific. So that means each state has their own set of laws as to why you or what type of ID you should be presenting. So we can already see right off the bat that you just presenting your own little thing because you're trying to hide your driver's license may not be legal in your state. Again, this is why it is very crucial for you as the business owner to do your own research and not just take people's statements. Research what I say, research what everybody say. Okay? When people are telling you they're doing stuff out of fear or concern, you should be concerned. Because if you're trying to not show your driver's license because of some kind of fear or concern you have, wait a minute, let me take pause and let me investigate this a little deeper, because you're not saying that that's legal to do or authorized to do. You're saying this is what I do because I have some concern or fear, and you're trying to protect yourself. Okay, I understand that. However, is what you're saying to do what I'm supposed to be doing? Is that what you're supposed to be doing? So now I got to look into it to make sure that what you're saying is valid. It's just that simple. So, as a Virginia mobile notary, here is the precise information on what IDs to present to your clients. The primary and mandatory, your Virginia notary registration certificate. So, I'm commissioned is saying you you should show that. I'm like, all right, cool. So I should show that. Bet. Hold on one second. I was just making sure this wasn't a order. No, that's not an order coming through. Then it says in Virginia, Secretary of Commonwealth issued notary registration certificates, 8.5 by 11. Basically, what to do, you should have the certificate framed and displayed in your place of business. So that's if you're operating out of a business, a building and all of that. As a mobile notary, your principal place of business is mobile. Therefore, you must carry a legible copy, a high quality photo, or a printed copy from the online verification system with you to every appointment. Now, I didn't know this. I'll be honest with you. I did not know this. So I was like, okay, so that's something I'm going to do. I will print out a copy and I keep it with me. I have no problem with that. Virginia OCO requirement, while the code mandates to display that at your business, common practice and professional standards for mobile notaries require you to present it upon request. It is a definite proof of your state granted authority. I agree. Then it says highly recommended government issued photo ID. Pair your notary certificate with a photo ID to confirm the person presenting the certificate is the commissioned notary. I said that makes sense. So your driver's license, ID card, passport, all of that. Okay. Professional presentation for a mobile notary. Be proactive upon introduction. Say hello, your name, this, that, and the other, your verification. Here's a copy of my official state issue notary registration and my photo ID. Carry a professional folder, this, that, and the other, high quality copy, driver's license, all of that. Utilize online verification. You can direct clients to go to the official Secretary of State, Virginia Secretary of State, search you up and find it. Okay. You can also verify my active commission online. I'm like, okay, all of this stuff is cool. I like that. Even has a link here for Virginia notary search. Bet. What you should not use to present your notary seal or stamp, your notary journal, a certificate or qualification from the circuit court or things of that nature. So, key Virginia specific considerations: no state ID, notary card. Unlike Florida, Virginia does not issue a wallet sized notary ID card. I'm like, okay. Mandatory display law. Since you're a mobile notary, carrying and presenting a copy is practical, is the practical way to comply. Okay, got it. Presenting these credentials immediately addresses clients' concerns, establishes your legitimacy, and reflects a professionalism required under Virginia law. All right, bet. Ensure you have several clear professional copies of your registration, all of that. So I was like, bet. And I said, I understand. However, some notaries feel that they should not show their driver's license because they are concerned that the client will have a photographic memory. And I'm saying this based off of what the lady said, because I had never really thought about it from her perspective, or from that perspective she shared, and later use that information from the notary's driver's license to do something criminal. Because if you take in somebody's information that you saw on their driver's license, it's not to be something to do something nice. So some notaries will make an ID badge on their computer and use it as an official ID. Can a self-made ID badge serve as an official ID for a notary? They said this is an excellent and very practical question that gets to the heart of the professional risk management versus legal obligation. The concern about privacy, or as they say in England, privacy, and identity theft is understandable, but the solution of a self made ID badge creates a significant legal and professional issue. Here's a clear breakdown. The direct answer is no. A self made badge is not an official form of identification and should not be presented as a substitute for the credentials required by law and professional standards. Presenting a homemade badge as official ID could be construed as misrepresentation. Why a self made badge is problematic and insufficient. It lacks the legal authority. Only a government agency, the Commonwealth of Virginia, or a lawful authorized entity can issue official identifications for your office. So your commission certificate is that official document. A badge you create carries no legal weight. Undermines professionalism and trust. A savvy client, meaning the person you're meeting with, like a police officer or other law enforcement, will recognize a homemade badge as unofficial. It can instantly erode trust, making you look amateurish or worse, as if you are hiding something. It defeats the very purpose of showing ID to build credibility. Does not serve the core verification need. The client's legitimate request is to verify two things: that you are a state authorized notary. This is proven only by your notary registration certificate. That you are the person named on that certificate. This is proven by government issue ID, like a driver's license, that match the same and the same name and a face on the certificate. If they put your face on it, they may not. Some states may do it. A homemade badge fulfills neither of these requirements. Potential legal and ethical and legal gray area, while not explicitly prohibited by statute. Presenting a self created item as a form of ID could be viewed unfavorably if a dispute arises about the notarization. It deviates from standard professional practice. So, my question would then be, what if you're working direct and your direct client, the title or whoever, ask for you to present your ID when you come there to make sure as a part of their standard practice? And then you say, well, here's my ID, and they're like, I need to see your driver's license. So are you going to now say, well, no, I'm not, because y'all might memorize my stuff? I'm not saying you can't have those feelings or shouldn't have those feelings. I'm just saying, what are you going to do? See, we're doing stuff just because of fear and concern. Not saying you shouldn't. Excuse me. Not saying you shouldn't have fear or concern, but you got to understand the practicalness of it. My thing is simply this: we're doing a job that requires trust. When you go to the store and buy whatever, and they want to see your ID to verify that you're 21 years old to get your brown liquor, clear liquor, slits, or whatever, that old slit malt liquor, your MD 2020, your pack of smokes, your paper, you pop that ID out gladly. And you're giving it to somebody who don't even know you. Better yet, when you go to the hospital in my area in Norfolk, you go to Norfolk General, you have to show them your driver's license because they scan that driver's license. So you can't go there with some homemade badge and say, yeah, scan this. No, they want to see your driver's license. You don't have a driver's license? Uh-uh. When you go to a school, I've gone to schools to do notarizations, and they got all that security. Got to show them an ID. Now, personally, I don't like doing that. I'm more against showing my ID to a hospital staff or school staff and having them scan my stuff than where I just show my ID to this person who I'm meeting because I have information on them. I'm going to get information from them that I know who they are and where they're at. But there's nothing that tells me that my information is secure and protected with that hospital or that school system. Nothing. Some of the people that work security there, you're looking at them like, okay, your uniform is 5 times too big for you or 3 times too small. You got a gun on your hip. You you looking not too trustworthy. You see what I'm saying? So let's use some common sense with this. And again, I know this is gonna get me in trouble with people because they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not trying to attack that person. They made a statement. I thought about it and I said, let me look into this. And here's what I found. So I'm sharing that with y'all and giving my perspective on it, just like they was giving theirs. So it goes on and talks about you can lead with your professional credentials, this, that, and the other. Show but don't surrender your photo ID. And I've been in that situation. I don't surrender it. Hold your ID in your hand and do not hand it over. Cover or cover and reveal. Just cover the information that you want hidden, like your driver's license and your ID number. Okay, that makes sense. All of that. So they just really need to see your photo and the name and the issuing state. And I get that. All right. Offer superior risk, all of that. So so then, and if it will allow, I think it will. Yeah, it'll allow me to put a link in here. So if I can, I'll put a link into all of this here. So then I said, now I agree with your answer. As a notary, part of my role is to record the client's information from their ID into the journal, which means I need to physically hold it. And for loan closings, I'm required to take a picture of the client's ID. What do you suggest if the client does not want me to have physical possession of their ID or take a picture of it because I was not willing to allow them to at least physically hold my ID, even though they did not want to photograph it? That's what I asked. He said, this is an excellent, complex, real world scenario that pits the client's privacy concerns against your legal and procedural requirements. You hit a genuine ethical dilemma in the profession. So here's a structured professional approach to resolve it. Core principle, you cannot waive your legal duties. I understand that. So first, be clear on the non-negotiables for you as a notary. Journal requirement, I need to do that. Yes, Virginia it's optional, but when it comes to mortgages, loan closings, I need to do that. I'm required to put it in my journal. This requires physical possession of the ID to accurately transcribe the information. Then it says the lender signing service requirement. For loan signings, you are an agent of the closing instructions. If those instructions require photo ID or photograph of the ID, a photocopy or photograph, you must obtain it or you cannot complete the signing. Failure to follow these instructions is in breach of your service agreement and can lead to you not being paid or being liable for the closing delay. Therefore, if the client is unwilling to allow you to perform these mandatory steps, you cannot proceed with the notarization. That is correct. Your obligation to follow the law and your hiring instruction overrides the client's preference in this matter. Completely agree. Recommended script and de-escalation strategy. Emphasize with them, tell them I completely understand your concern about privacy, this, that, and the other. Explain to them why you need to do this, that, and the other. Hey, this, that, and the other is going to be deleted at the end. Explain why, frame it as protection to them. The reason why I'm required to record your ID is not for my use, but for your protection. The journal creates a permanent timestamp record that proves that you were the person who appeared before me. If anyone ever falsely claims your signature was forged on this important document, my journal entry is the key evidence that clears you and proves the notarizations was legit. Explain why for loan closings. It's non-negotiable requirement. For this home loan closing, the lender or title company has specific non-negotiable rules that prevent fraud. One of these rules is that I must collect a copy of the ID used for verification. I am contractually obligated to follow these steps. I cannot complete the signing without fulfilling this requirement as it would invalidate the closing. Offer a compromise of your ID. Now listen to this. This is where you break your stalemate. You can maintain your boundary while offering a concession. I hear you that you I hear that you feel more comfortable as if I also share my ID. While my official credential is this Virginia Notary Registration Certificate, I am willing to let you physically examine my driver's license for verification, just as I need to examine yours for the journal. We can do this at the same time. I'll hold yours to make my journal entry, and you can hold mine to verify me. Does that seem fair? You can answer. That's completely up to you. Present the clear choice and consequences. If they still refuse, you must be prepared to end the appointment professionally and firmly. Okay. And then it goes on and says here, yeah, I want to help you complete this, but I cannot violate the law, Virginia law. My legal duty requires me to record the IDs. If I cannot, I am not permitted to perform the notarization. So we have a choice. We proceed by exchanging IDs verification. You can hold mine while I record yours. I am unable to notarize, and you will need to contact the lender, this, that, and the other. Which do you prefer to do? What to do if they still refuse? Do not notarize. The professional notary walk away. I like that. This is paramount. Forcing the issue risk an invalid notarization and a complaint against your commission. The document the refusal. Make note of that in your log. Notify the requester. Let them know, hey, this is what's going down. Leave calmly. You need their ID to fill your stuff. They want to verify you as a legitimate professional. And I completely understand that. Okay. And that's the end of that. Now, y'all can pause this video and type in those same questions, type it in however you want yourself. But the bottom line is this: we, as people who want to try to help others out, need to do a little bit more research before we start sharing information. It's that simple. It's that simple. We need to be thoughtful and say, why am I doing this? And how can I back up what I'm saying that I'm doing? If you're going to share information and put yourself out there on Front Street before people, to me, you have an obligation to do that. Now, whether you want to believe that or not, or whether you want to walk in that, that's completely up to you. But I sit down and I take time out and I research and I say, okay, well, this is that, and then I present it. I feel I have an obligation to do that because I'm asking people to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me, but if you do take time out to do so, then I need to be as right and exact as possible, and then willing to correct my misspoken words once I come to the knowledge that I have misspoken and go do additional research. That's, to me, just common sense. Now, some people may have never been in this place of let me educate people on such and such, and they're new to this. But you need to know I've been doing public speaking and educating people on stuff for a very long time. And in every case, I always make sure I check my facts. If I have not checked something, I tell you that I have not checked something. If it's just my personal speculation, I share with you that. But I do my best not to share information and come across. Okay, that's my son. Let me know you're on his way home. I do my best to share information, and if it's not researched yet, then I tell people. I articulate that. I don't expect you to like, okay, well, I'm gonna just take Griff with a grain of salt. I expect people to take me at my word because that's just maybe who you are, and that's nothing wrong with that. So it is my responsibility to make sure I say something and don't assume that you're just going to know. It's that simple. For those of you who are receiving of information, this proves, excuse me, this proves even the more that you need to do what? Research stuff out that people are saying. Question them. Find out the root. Find out the source. Find out the genesis, whatever you want to call it. And stop just accepting what somebody says is fact. Yes, notaries, we should do this. Yes, notaries, we should do that. You should, this is what I, yeah, this is what I do. Yeah. And they say it in such a way that you're like, okay, yeah, I should do it too. Should you? See, you're trying to worry about trying to make money, but then you're doing stuff and following advice that could cause you not to be able to make money because you did something illegal. And if you don't want to take time out to verify that, to check it, then you probably don't need to be in this business or any kind of business because it doesn't matter what the business is. You have an obligation to make sure that the information you are executing is correct. And if you're unwilling to do that and you just want to go because the person seemed to be saying something cool or you have that same fear or concern, so since they spoke it, you like, I'm gonna live by it. I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna create my own, I don't even have no ID. Uh, I'm gonna just create my own ID. Yeah, that's it. I got my own ID. Eh, no, look into it a little bit more. But again, if you take this personal, like I'm attacking you, that's on you. I'm not attacking anybody. People are saying things out here. It doesn't make sense. They're not providing any proof as to why they are doing it. They're not giving any disclaimers. And if I feel the need to speak on it, I will. If the person gets angry with me, don't want to follow me, want to talk trash about me, then to me, that seems like that's what's in your heart. And I've done this the whole time I've been out here. And what I found is that probably 99% of the people who make statements and then I say something, I bring proof that they might be a little misguided or bring clarity to what they're saying. They never go back and correct the misspoken statements. They just want to attack and get angry with me. But they never correct what they was doing. And they continue to say misguided and unresearched things to the notary community. All right. I'm out. Let me go print my documents for tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Peace.